After some big results in midweek, Derby County and Paul Warren come back to Pride Park looking to make it 3 wins on the bounce. We heard last night that Peterborough dropped all 3 points in their game. They lost 2-1 and even had a man sent off. Bolton's game was abandoned just minutes into the game due to a waterlogged pitch. So 2 massive results for Derby County. Stevenage also dropped points, and that is big in the battle for the playoffs and automatic promotion. But in this video, we're going to be taking a closer look into Shrewsbury Town, the team that we face at Pride Park on Saturday afternoon. So if you're ready for that, make sure you've hit the like button and subscribed so you can stay up to date with all my latest content. So, as I previously mentioned, Shrewsbury Town head to Pride Park this weekend. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff at Pride Park Stadium, and Derby are looking to make it 3 wins on the bounce. Now, you only have to look at that head-to-head record to see that this is not going to be an easy task. Derby have failed to beat Shrewsbury in their last 4 attempts, and that is something which Paul Warren needs to rectify heading into this game. Obviously, we have some big injury doubts, with Nathaniel Mendez-Laing having to come off the pitch in the previous game. Is he going to be available for this weekend? We're yet to hear from Paul Warren when I'm recording this on Wednesday, so I'm not 100% sure. Fingers crossed it is just like a contact injury and he is available for the weekend, but I'll get into some options in my team prediction later on in the video, so make sure you stay tuned for that. So, as we can see by this head-to-head record, it isn't great looking for Derby County. We've had 2 draws and 2 losses in the 4 attempts against Shrewsbury. Well, one of the games was in 2011, so there's not much that's really relevant from that game. But the 3 games we've played since in 2022 and 2023 are all relevant. We failed to score away in August, a game which ultimately ended up being one of the reasons Liam Rosenior was removed from his position. And then a 2-2 draw in March, one which arguably cost us a playoff position, being the fact that we finished only a point outside the playoffs. And if I remember rightly, that game we should have won. And then, obviously, in October of this year, we also failed to beat them again, where they beat us 1-0. And obviously, it's a massive, massive game for Derby. We'll look at the league table in a minute, but we're going to get into the team form now and just take a look at what both teams can expect. Now, as you can see, Derby have lost 1 of their last 5. Now, Derby have been in some excellent form recently. I think over the past 10 games, I think they're 2nd or 3rd in the league, which is brilliant. Despite the fact we've put on some awful performances throughout the month of January, we're still up there in the form table. We're still picking up results, and that's important. Now, one big thing is that loss to Reading. We could currently see ourselves 6 points clear of 4th place, and we could be in a very different position. But we lost that game. We drew to Lincoln, and to be completely honest, I think we've now started to hit a bit of a... We hit the stumble. Now I think we're getting over the stumble with the past 2 results, but we'll find out on Saturday. And as you can see on the right-hand side, looking at Shrewsbury Town's form, they've won 1 of the last 5, and they'll be looking to turn their form around and hopefully pick up a good result at Pride Park. But Paul Warren and Derby County stand in their way. Shall we now take a proper look into the league table before we have a look at Shrewsbury Town? So here is the league table. Derby County currently find themselves in 2nd place, just 4 points behind Portsmouth with a game in hand. Now, Derby are only a point ahead of Bolton, and Bolton have 2 games in hand, but it's going to become really tricky for them. There's an international break coming up, and I think they have 18 games to play in less than 12 weeks. They're going to have a very, very busy schedule. Also, you see Peterborough now level on games with us, and we are now 3 points clear of them. You look at Stevenage, who dropped points last night. They still have a game in hand on us, but they are on 52 points. Now, Derby are in a very good position. We are 8 points clear of Oxford in 7th place, so it's going to take quite a lot to fall out of the playoffs. But I'm not pinning my hopes that the season is done and we're in a good position yet, because at a similar point last year, we were, I believe it was 10 points clear of 7th place. And where did we end up finishing last year? 7th place. So it's important to make sure that Derby keep the levels that they're playing at if we want to establish automatic promotion or the playoffs. We scroll down now and we look at Shrewsbury Town. They've played 30 games and collected 33 points. Now, they're not in a horrific position, but they are only 3 points ahead of Port Vale in 21st place. And obviously, that is where you start to worry. If Port Vale were to pick up a win at the weekend, Shrewsbury Town could fall into those relegation places. And that is something which they'll be hoping to miss, and hoping that they can stay within this League One for the next season. Now, you'll see down at the bottom, Fleetwood Town have picked up some form recently, picking up 2 wins and a draw in their past 3 games. Are they finally on the flip? Are they going to get themselves out of relegation? That is something which Shrewsbury Town will be looking over their shoulder for. We're now going to take a look into Shrewsbury Town. We'll take a look at their manager and their key danger men within the squad. So, Paul Hurst has recently been appointed as the manager of Shrewsbury Town. He's won 1 and lost 1 since taking charge. I think they beat Northampton Town in their 2 games ago. So that's big for them. It's a good result for them. But as you can see, he's been at a range of different clubs, including Grimsby, Ipswich and Shrewsbury Town previously. So the 49-year-old coach will be looking to improve their fortunes this season and hoping that he can be the man to keep them in League One. We take a look now at some of the statistics, and you can see that Daniel Udo is their top goal scorer with 5. He's also collected 3 assists. So he is going to be danger man in the front line. You've also got Cheyenne Dunkley, who's got 4 goals, and he is going to be a threat, and Jordan Shipley with 3 goals and 4 assists. But I am keen to point out that Noah Kenny, I believe he used to play for Leeds. I believe he's one of their youngsters. He looks like he's been very good for Shrewsbury Town over the course of this season, and it will be important to see what he can do heading into this game. Now, they are the danger men which Derby County should be looking out for, and fingers crossed Paul Warren will have a plan to keep Derby County on their winning ways. So here is my predicted lineup for the game. Now, obviously, we're not 100% sure on the extremities of Nathaniel Mendez-Laing's injury, so my front line may look a bit different to what you'd expect, but it can easily change. If Nathaniel Mendez-Laing has been deemed fit and trained this week, then personally I would play him instead of Barkhazen. Corey Blackett-Taylor, minor injury. Personally, I think they just didn't want to play him against Charlton. A gesture of goodwill, if you must. So I think that Corey Blackett-Taylor will be back into the side. I think the midfield 3 of Adams, Horahan and Bird played really well at the weekend. I thought Adams was absolutely excellent on debut, and hopefully he can keep up those performances for the rest of the season. That would be mega important. Obviously, at the weekend, we played a back 5, if I remember rightly. But this week, I think I'd make a bit of a change and I'd bring Nyambi back into the fold and go to a back 4. I think it gives us more options going forward. I think we're better as a back 4. Obviously, I'd keep Sibley on the left-hand side. Nyambi, Nelson and Cashin can drop into a 3. Barkhazen can drop in as a right wing back if needs be, with Blackett, Taylor and Collins up front. Obviously, that could be different if Mendez-Laing's on the pitch and stuff like that. But, you know, that's the vibe I'm going for. This 4-3-3, I think when we play it and we've got the right players in midfield, I think it works really well. And I think Adams could be exactly what we need. Obviously, Connor Washington is still a few weeks away up front. So, yeah, this is the team I'm predicting. Let me know your team predictions down in the comments. So, obviously, I predicted all my scores in a previous video. Make sure you've checked that out if you haven't done so already. And make sure that you stick around to the channel for any upcoming Derby and Formula 1 content. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button. And I'll catch you in my next video. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.